Hey everyone, I'm here with our member Kristin, and I want to know why she chose Aspire.
Why did I choose Aspire? You know, and this is going to sound, I truly did, shopped around a little bit.
Okay.
I shopped around a little bit and was looking for a place that had, you know, a great workout, that was challenging, that had good programming, and was really fun. You know, sometimes you can have all those things and you kind of get there and like I wanted someplace that the members were engaged, and you can really tell, like members are engaged, owners are engaged. It's really great. It's fun. It's like I needed the whole package and I found it.
That's awesome. And is there anything like specific or non-specific that you've achieved since you joined us?
What have I achieved? I'm trying to think. I've had a number of 1-rep maxes,
Awesome.
which is always good. I do have like consistent pull-ups, so which I didn't have before.
Oh, awesome.
So that's really fun. You know, that's kind of cool.
That's one of the things that a lot of people come in wanting to do is a pull-up. So like, was that journey something that took you a long time, or did that come pretty naturally to you?
No, it took a long time. It took a long time. There are days that I'm like, are we really there? There are days I spend a lot of time kind of standing looking at that bar.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get up there and you do it and you get it done, and sometimes it's just a few at a time.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, that's CrossFit though.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And was like that moment in particular when you started getting pull-ups one of your more accomplished moments here at Aspire?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because I had been doing CrossFit for about 4 years, and there was still like I still couldn't do them. So like when I got here, I really was able to. I worked with Jerry a lot and kind of on like the mechanics of it all. Like there's more to it. It's not just like jump up on this thing and pull yourself up. It's there's a way to do it that that's more efficient, that's healthier for your shoulder, that's all those things. And when you kind of can put all that together, it's great.
That's cool. And obviously that's a big win from a fitness standpoint. What about like from a health standpoint? What kind of wins have you experienced? Just, you know, not only here at Aspire, but just having a healthier, more fit, you know, you're one of the most accountable people here. How has that accountability within your workouts affected your overall health?
You know, I really, like, especially like lately, I've really been feeling like I feel better. On days I'm not here, I'm sad. I'm just sad because I miss my friends, I miss my people.
Yeah.
But I really, you know, after a couple of days, strangely, you know, most people feel like they're like if they work out too much, they like they're sore and they hurt. If I don't work out enough, then like that's when my back hurts. That's when I like can't get up off the couch and things like that. Like you really have to keep moving, and that's what even when you're here, some days it's like some days you just don't have all that energy, but it's like I'm gonna get here, I'm gonna do what I can do, and you know, and feel better when I leave.
Yeah, I feel the same way. When I'm not active is when things start hurting.
Yeah.
And then when I'm constantly moving or just regular with my workouts, that's really when I feel the best. Yeah. And one thing I think that we, you know, as the owner, I try really hard on is having, you know, a community and a culture here that is, you know, not only open to everybody, but challenges you and encourages you. How would you just describe the community or the culture here at Aspire?
It really is, it's like corny and hokey, but it's a little bit like a family, and everybody supports each other. And you know, there are some days that it's like we're all like I feel like some days like we're all just in the thick of it together. So there is something about like when the workout's really hard, you're not doing it alone.
Yeah,
you're always doing it with, and everybody. You know, we've been out on the road a lot, like running or walking with heavy things.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like I don't know if I can do this, and you know, and everybody encourages everyone to just keep moving, like just keep going. You know, whatever you can do, and it's fun. I think like days when it's really crowded and we have to really work together. You know, sometimes to make sure everybody gets their stuff, and we got to work together, and everybody just does. I don't really know how it. I don't know how it happens. It just does.
Yeah. Yeah, those are my favorite days when you know have to share things. You know, it's rare because we have so much stuff, but when we do have to share things, because then you get to work out with somebody more so than you would have worked individually. But like you said, also just especially when we're out there holding heavy stuff, like if I was doing this workout by myself, I would have put that weight down so many more times. But because everybody else is walking past me, it just really inspires me to keep going.
Right, and it does, and it's fun. I actually do. I love like, and I don't get here on Saturdays as much as I'd like to, but like partner workouts are so much fun because you're just doing it with somebody else.
Yeah. And you've obviously been, doing CrossFit and been with us for a long time and just exercising in general for a long time. How has that kind of affected, your consistency in the gym, affected your life outside of the gym?
It really does. First of all, I started like a long time ago before I was really doing CrossFit, but doing things that were CrossFit-esque, was like, it was a place that I could go a couple times a week. And first of all, it's hard enough that you have to really kind of focus on what you're doing. You got to think about what you're doing and how you're doing it. And you can't let other things get in your way. And so it's really good, I think, for that to kind of like prove to yourself that you can do these things. Sometimes many things you don't think you can do. Sometimes it's just like that the workout's long, and you're like, how am I going to get all this done?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, you're like, wow, I actually did all this stuff
in 60 minutes.
Right.
Or just about. Yeah.
Or even like if it's like for chippers and stuff like that. And I think so. It's a good break from everything else you do because you really got to be kind of focused on what you're doing here.
Yeah.
But there's also just that sense of you will get through things that are hard, and I think like things like a chipper, like just break it down. Like I think there's a tendency sometimes for people to sort of, you start thinking too far ahead. Yeah. And sometimes the best way to get through like the really long workout is just like, what am I doing right now?
Yeah. Just be in that moment.
Right. Like I'm just going to work on, right now we're doing burpees and we're just going to think, I'm not going to think about the heavy snatch down the road that I don't know if I can do or something like that. It's just like, okay, what can I, I'm focused on this right now, and then we'll work at the next task.
Yeah. And do you typically measure your fitness more so like of the metrics in the gym, or is it more so like what you can do outside of the gym? Or like, how do you measure your fitness?
I think it depends. I mean, I think there are days, and it kind of, I think, depends on where you are in like, there are times here that it feels like, like everything you measure at the gym is like up, it's everything's headed in the right direction. Yeah. And there are some times when you're like, I don't know, I don't know about this. Yeah. But sometimes in those times you're like, okay, but what do I've made some small gains here. I like feel better when I'm out and about. I see like some of my, I feel like just like measuring against like when I see other people, like my friends and stuff who aren't as active. Yeah. That I feel like I don't have a problem picking up the bag of dog food, or putting my carry-on in the overhead compartment, or
those things are
going on
tasks.
Along or doing everything else. It's like, okay, we do this all the time.
All the time with heavier weight.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe you've already answered this, but what makes you come back each day? What makes you come back each day to Aspire?
What makes me come back? I think some of it is like always wanting to do better, always wanting to like make improvements here, and I feel like despite the pull-ups, there's always like unfinished work. There's always like, okay, there's still these other things that I need to do, and so there's like just that constant desire to do better and to come back to a place where people want you to do better and where people believe you can do better. Like everybody wants to be in that environment, whether it's, if it's your work, even at like work, you want to be someplace where you feel like you can do your best work. Yeah. And this is kind of a place I can do my best work here. I think a lot of people do their best work here.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Thanks for sharing. Is there anything else you want to share?
No, let me think. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. No, just keep doing what you're doing here, Sean. It's
awesome.
fun.
Well, thank you so much, Kristin.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you.